What's your name? Where are you from?
Derek Brennan from Ballycallan, Kilkenny.
Tell us how you came to live in Kilkenny.
I was born in England. My parents went over there back then, in the 60s, as a lot of people did. I was born there, I came back, I think I was about a year and a half old. Came back, and I lived in Kilkenny City till I was 1980. Then back out to Ballycallan, where I'm from now, where my dad is actually originally from there. So yeah.
Do you remember your first moments in Kilkenny?
No, I was only a year and a half. So
No.
it's earliest. Being brought to school in baby infants, I cried and screams. That's probably my ear. I didn't want to go. I tried to climb out the window, and all the nuns had to lock me in. So that's probably it. I was about 4 years old.
So you're from Kilkenny, so you must have favourite stories about it or memories.
Place, St Fiacre's Well. It's about 4 miles out from Kilkenny. We practically grew up down there. Like, we just camped. We'd go down swimming for a day, and next thing we'd decide to stay for a night. We'd pull a straw, see who's going to go home, tell our parents we're not coming home till tomorrow.
Right.
I were only kids, 12, 14 years of age, because there was no worry.
Right.
You know, you're home and you're hungry. That's what my mum always said. He's okay. When he's hungry, he'll come home. It's a lot of the problem now. People need to get back to nature, back to basics.
Is Kilkenny good for that?
It is, because we're small and we're surrounded by some, beautiful places. I've travelled a lot now in the last year looking at all these fantastic castles and gardens, and I didn't even know they were there, and they're only all within 35, 40 minutes drive. So when you get back to grassroots and you go look at the country we have, it's fantastic.
Where's your favourite place in Kilkenny and why?
Out in nature, by the river. Sitting by the river, enjoying nature, that's it, that's my favourite place.
You think that was your grandfather?
Oh, 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I went back to the graveyard and I just stopped outside the graveyard and I went in and had a word with him, this is for you, Grandad.
No.
And there was more, there was a few other things, I was another time up in the rock bar, taking my Grandad, and nobody was catching salmon for weeks. I just sat down, thought about him, I stood up, threw out my line, bang, boom, I got a salmon. I just went, wow,
Right.
thank you, Grandad. Yeah.
What about Kilkenny city itself? Where would you chill out?
I'm not really a social person anymore. I'm gone the opposite. I'm gone back to nature, walking in the woods, walking by the river, foraging for food and learning nature.
Oh, right.
Yeah, meeting up with a lot of people in alternative groups, like foraging groups and eco gardening. Some people say, I won't say hippie, but people are back to basics.
Yeah,
Because
tell us more.
getting away from getting out of the supermarkets and getting back to organic. I'm growing my own veg, a lot of it, and I'm in touch with people who grow their veg, so 90% of my food is organic food. I've gone vegan, but not deliberately, just over the last probably 6 years. I don't know why, I turned off a milk, I turned off a red meat, then I turned off a chicken, and I just don't want it. And I didn't choose it, I just don't. It's getting back to what we should have, and getting away from, I'm going to say, pharmaceutical, go back to nature. Everything's in nature.
And
Like,
you feel you can do this?
100%.
in Kilkenny?
like everything is there, and the abundance of fruit and veg this year, it's phenomenal. Like, I know a lot of people, and they're all seeing this. I've seen plants I've never seen before, and I spent all my life shooting and fishing out in nature, and I've seen plants I have never seen that are starting to come back, and I showed them to my dad. He's, God, I didn't see that for years. My dad's from a farming background, so he knows the farming end of it. So yeah, he's the same. He's agreeing with me. Like the berries and fruit and apples, and it's just abundant this year.
How would you like to see Kilkenny develop in the future?
Change, the education system has to be changed, because they're literally indoctrinating children with all this ridiculous stuff. I won't go into it, but it's another argument. But getting back away from the computers and televisions, get away from that.
Kilkenny it's not like Dublin, it's not a huge city. So what about the city itself? What do you think of the
There's a lot.
industry that they've built up here?
There's a lot of tourism that's been neglected by the council here. The council are not doing what they should be doing. Like, I know there's places of historical places that are left to rack and ruin, and I look at them and said, give me 10 guys for a week, clean up these places, put a picnic bench there. Simple thing. Open it up. Like, there's old mills down the river. Like, I know them because I spent all my life down the river. All these old mills, they're just rack and ruin. There are trees growing out of the walls. They should be all cleaned up. Go to the real history. All along the Nore, all these mills. What the Fennessy's mill, Brett's Weir. They all have history to them. Like, why are they just being left go to rack and ruin? They're forgetting our history. like deliberately, I won't go into that either, but it's deliberately being forgot. People need to go back and learn our history, our real history. You know, that's the thing, people don't know it. You know, not that I'm no expert by any means, but just what I know, the little bit I do know. But yeah, that's Kilkenny has a lot to offer. You know, all these historical buildings, the true history. There's tunnels underneath Kilkenny Castle that no one even knows about. I know them as a kid, and they go down the canal 1 mile, maybe a mile away down, and the tunnel connects you to the castle. We know this from a kid. We were down there. Nobody knows that. It's buried over. You know, there's 7 springs down there. For some reason, they decided to bury it. The most perfect, beautiful, fresh water you could ever get. They covered it in. They put tips, trailers, and buried it. Like, why?
Sum up kind of Kilkenny in a phrase or a word.
It has a potential to be one of the best cities in Ireland. You know, it actually is the capital in history. Why was that taken away? But the history in this city is the medieval city. You know,
The history.
yeah, we're hiding our history, the true history of it. So the tourism in this city is probably one of the best in the country. So the potential for tourism in this county is massive.